Get a Job in Tech, episode 115. We're continuing our discussion on how to get started in tech. We're talking about finding a mentor. How do you find one? Who is a mentor? What expectations do you have of your mentor? What expectations do your mentor have of you? There's really only 7 things that I talk about when I coach individuals. I usually charge about $5,000 for a year's worth of coaching. Usually it's $2,500 up front and then $2,500 after the first year if they've met their goals, right? Right now I'm mentoring an individual and I'm not charging him because it's a family friend, right? Anyway, so on that note, so some of the things to think about when you're the person being mentored, meaning you need a job, right? First of all, this goes without saying is if you don't have a job at all, 0 job, right? Then you don't need a mentor. You need to get a job, right? Does that mean, you want to get a job in tech, right? But if you don't have a job, you need to get a job. You need to get money, right? That's the first step. Step 1, get a job, right? That's step 1. Then worry about the tech stuff later. Whether that works at McDonald's, Walmart, whatever, Amazon, Pizza Hut, staffing agency, whatever that is, get a job. That's what you have to do. That's your priority number 1 right there. Don't even go further than that. Because without a job, none of this makes sense, right? So the thing about it is when you have a low job, right, low income job, meaning you make the minimum wage, right, and you see your friends around you that make more, whoever they are, and it can kind of get at you after a while, especially if you're reach a certain age. You're like, wait a minute, I'm only making $10 an hour, right? And I'm 35, right? What is that? Really? $10 an hour? And you see other people that are 35 and they're making, 6 figures or more, right? And doing what they like to do. And it kind of, it will eat at you a bit, right? Especially if you don't have a job or you don't understand how to get a job in tech or just a better job in that matter. And so that actually starts us off with the first thing, right? So that's actually step 0, right? So finding a mentor, right? So how to be prepared, you, the person getting mentored, the things you need to do before going to a mentor. Because a mentor, they can show you the way, right? But if you're not willing to go the way, it's never going to work. It's a one-way street, right? And so in my experience, 100% of the time, the people that do are the people that become, right? And having said that, so the first, or the number 0 really is, ask yourself, what limiting beliefs do you have? Why haven't you got a job in tech before? What's holding you back? You can write that out. Nobody has to know. Nobody has to know that, but write it out. Really understand what, why am I like this? What happened? Where did I get to this point? Did I do something wrong? Did I not take advice? Did I listen to the wrong people? Did I just miss out? Am I shy? Do I not just, whatever it is, right? And that's okay. And it doesn't matter if you haven't done it, because look, today is a new day, right? You can start day 1 or day 0 right now, if you will, and going this path forward. For instance, if you don't have a job, okay, and you're looking for a job in tech, so I would recommend this. Here's actually what I would recommend. You don't have a job. You take out your camera, your phone. Who doesn't have a camera phone? And you videotape, record, if you will, just record. You record yourself saying, I don't have a job. I just lost my job or whatever, right? And you record yourself recording, looking at a one ad or something like that, right? And what you say is, if anybody knows where to get a job out there, let me know. Just let me know. This is the skill I have, and then you name off your skills, what you have, and then you put it on YouTube, you put it on Instagram, you put it on Twitter, You put it on all the social media, right? You put it on Snapchat, TikTok, LinkedIn, all of that you put on there. Now, of course, if you don't have a computer, if you have a phone, you can do all this, right? Because a phone is really a computer, right? But that's step number one, is what limiting beliefs do you have? Why haven't you got a job before in tech? It's got to, for change to happen, it has to make you mad. It has to like get you riled up and say, really, I want to do this better. I want to do this. I want to do this, right? And a good idea is to find somebody who is in your high school and maybe live in the same town as you. Go talk to them a little bit and, you know, create almost like a, you want to be mad at their success. You don't want to be jealous. You don't want to be envious, right? You just need a little motivation, okay? Right? Because maybe that person you went to high school with, maybe they, bothered you. They bullied you. They picked on you, or they called you names, or maybe they're just a know-it-all, right? And you're like, that person, they're a know-it-all, right? He or she's a know-it-all. And, what you're after is like your motivation. And, it's self-motivation, right? Don't let anybody fool you. Motivation is like everyday thing. It's an everyday step. It's like today, I'm motivated. Tomorrow, I need to be motivated again. It doesn't continuously work. Every day, everybody has to continue to motivate themselves and say, okay, I'm going to do this, especially in tech. Let me tell you. That's a misconception, by the way, in tech, is that individuals think, oh, yeah, once I'm in, good. No. That's not even, that's the case if you're work at a factory, okay? You work at an auto mechanic factory. That's the case if you work at Walmart. You do the same thing every day. There's no growth. That's the same thing if you work in Walmart or McDonald's or one of these places like that. A factory where you just like make a widget or something, you make a part or whatever, right? You're in a plastics factory. You're in you make injection molding. You make spoons, whatever, right? Or you're a metal factory. Or you make pillows for whatever, My Pillow, let's say, right? My Pillow guy makes pillows. Whatever it is. That's the same thing all the time. That's a constantly doing the same thing, repetitive nature. IT, technical, in that matter, is not even anywhere close to that, right? Because every day you're going to see the same, you're going to see some similar issues, but usually it's a different thing. Technology is always changing, and you'll notice this. I mean, there are individuals, right, when you get into tech that have been there 15 years, okay, and that's cool, right? Hey, that's cool, right? They're making $20 an hour for the past 15 years. They work hell at it, right? Hey, that's good. That's good for them, right? Whatever it is. But you got to realize, right? The ceiling is low. That's the ceiling, right? Their ceiling is X. $20 an hour is their ceiling. Okay, there's a lot of limitations in that. The bottom line is, it's freedom, friend. It's freedom. Do you want to be free? Do you want to be financially free? If you want to be financially free, learn IT. Okay, that's bottom line right there. If you want to be free, financially free, learn IT. You still get a job. We're not talking about like billionaire rich, right? It's possible, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about financially free. We're talking about you going on a vacation, not having to worry. Okay, I gotta make my mortgage. I gotta work at a factory. I can only go to a vacation for 1 week out of the year because I can't afford to cover the cost of it. Because let's say airfare is $500. You only make $20 an hour. $20 an hour times, what is it, 40 hours a week? 800, right? A week. Let's say you take tax. That's probably 600, right? Let's say 600 a week, right? 6 times 4 is 24. So $2,400, right? Roughly. Is that right? Sounds about right. Yeah, 20 times 40 is 800. 600 really. 6 times 4 is 24. So $2,400 in a month. Your mortgage is probably $100,000, let's say. So that's 1,400 less. Maybe you have bills, you have expenses. Maybe that's another 500, right? So what are you left with? You're left with like $900, right? You know, and most people, most individuals don't save, right? Most individuals don't save, or they have other expenses or whatever, right? So maybe if you have a family, you have to feed them, and you have to clothe them, and all the other things, right, that come along with that. And let's not forget about car and gas, and we can go on and on, right, for this. But if you're in tech, you can, when you work at a factory, when you work at Walmart, when you work at McDonald's, right, when you go home, you can't relearn McDonald's. You don't have the tools there. You don't have the big machinery they have at your house. Okay. When you go to Walmart, you can't relearn. You can't enhance your skill set in McDonald's. I mean, not McDonald's or Walmart. When you go home, what are you going to do? You're going to box shelves. That's not a skill. You're boxing shelves. You're looking at a price and you're looking at a barcode and you're boxing it. Okay, good, awesome, right? Fantastic. But no knock on them, right? No knock on them. Meaning, I'm just saying, you can't learn that when you get home. You can't grow, like you can with IT or tech. You can't do that. IT or tech, you can go home. Tech, let's say tech. When you go home every day from tech, guess what you can do? You can learn what you did at work. Because, hey, you have a computer. Hello, right? Duh. And you can get it done. It's just it's really okay. Zero is really what limiting beliefs do you have? Why haven't you got a job yet in tech? There's so many out there, right? What's stopping you, right? Ask yourself that really before you talk to your mentor. You got to ask yourself questions of yourself. The second thing is this, or number one, if you will. So you have number 0, which is what limiting beliefs do you have, and why haven't you got a job in tech? That's 0. Number 0. Number 1 is, what is a minimum you have to get paid per month? What's your minimum? What's your minimum you need to be paid so that you can keep the lights on in the house or the apartment or wherever you live? What's the minimum? Do you know it? Real simple step. Write out your bills right now. Right? Take a piece of paper. I'll wait. Write out your bills. What bills do you have? I don't know. You know. What do you have? What bills do you have? Write it out. Understand. And also ask yourself, what can I do to take those bills down a little bit? You don't have a job and you have a TV, if you have like a what do you call it, a cable bill, okay, you don't have a job. Okay, that goes. Number 1 right there, done. Second thing is, okay, soda, right? That's out, done. Go get sugar water, whatever. Go get juice, make your own. Learn how to make your own juice. Yeah, that's all. These are sacrifices just to make. This is temporary, by the way. This isn't a long term. This is temporary. So it's like a sugar rush, right? So if you got sugar rush, well, just go to the supermarket, learn how to make a smoothie, and I can give you one. So it's real simple, right? You go to the supermarket, you got avocados, apples, right? And you can get some sugar or honey, blend it up, put a little milk in there, and drink it up. It's a good smoothie right there. Or avocados. If you don't like avocados, substitute for something else. Just apple, for that matter. Just put apples. That's a smoothie. Add a little milk in there. Add some cashews or some almonds in there. Blend it up. So delicious. Put it in the freezer for a bit, and you get almost like a shake consistency. So, letter 0 or number 0 is, what limiting beliefs do you have? Why haven't you got a job in tech? Number 1, what is the minimum you have to get paid? Number 2, how much time can you dedicate to looking for a job? 168 hours in a week. Of those 168 hours, you sleep 10 hours a day, let's say, right? So 70 hours a week right there. 70 hours less 168 hours, okay? That's like 90, that's 80 plus hours, right? So in 80 hours, What can you do if you have a job? Okay, say you have a job. That's 10 hours a day too, let's say, right? So you're really at work or sleeping, 20 hours a day, let's just say. That's 4 hours a day you have to learn something. When you're not sleeping and you're not working. So cut that in half, that's 2 hours. So take that 2 hours, watch a video. If you don't have a computer, watch it on your phone. Write it down. Write down those things. Start looking for jobs. Anything. The basic thing. Just anything, anything, anything. Look for a job. Number 3, how much time can you dedicate to learning tech? So how much time are you willing to put in just to learn tech? Again, we talked about 2 hours. So if you can do 2 hours a day, fantastic. So let me back it up, actually, because I didn't take the fact that you do have weekends. So you're not really working on the weekends. So really, technically, you're 70 hours a week, and you're only working 50 hours a week, actually, right? Technically. So you have those full Saturday and Sundays that you could work, and you could look for a job, and you could also learn a skill, right? So you have at least 20 hours a weekend to either look for a job and to learn tech. 20 hours. In 20 hours time, you definitely do something awesome. Number 4, what's the timeline that you have? What are you giving yourself the timeline to get your first job in tech? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? From nothing? Is it 1 week? Is it a month? It should be as soon as possible. Should have a timeline of like as soon as possible. Within 1 month, you should tell yourself, within 1 month, I'm going to have a job in tech. If that's a call center, that's a good point. If it's a call center, if it's a tech support, if it's just answering phones for a tech company, if it's telemarketing, whatever, right? Just you got a script, you're answering the phone. That's customer service, something like that in that general field. Number 5, where are you willing to live to get a job in tech? Now, if you live in a remote area, they have satellite internet, most likely you're not going to be able to get a job in IT there. Because if that's all they have in that area, there's probably not a lot of need for IT people, which translates into, okay, there's a factory job, there's Walmart, there's whatever. So if the jobs aren't there, you have to move. That's difficult for some folks, I get it. But it doesn't mean you have to live anywhere else, or whatever length of time. You can always go back. But why not think about living somewhere else? Get a job set, get a job skill. Overseas, for example, Qatar, Qatar. Go there for 3 or 4 years, make a bunch of money. And by much of money, I mean like 100K or 60K. Start off at 60K, let's say. Make some money, come back to wherever you lived before. You have a cushion at least, right? And then get a job. Maybe a non-tech job or whatever, right? But at least you have a skill set. Number 6, what skills do you have now? So what skills do you currently have now that we could translate into getting a job in tech? Some soft skills, for instance, right? Dealing with individuals. People skills. That's a transferable skill. Transferable skill, customer service, right? Transferable. Did you work in a point of sale system? Meaning at your job, Walmart, McDonald's, did you pay a point of sale system? Did you use any type of ordering system, like a wand or a WASP, which is like a barcode scanner? Did you use that? Okay, understanding that, you scan it, it puts it in a database. Okay, that's a skill, transferable skill that you could have. That's very transferable actually in tech because it's one of those underlying things. Meaning it's like almost like having empathy, if you will, right? So having empathy is it's a keyword now. They always talk about it, but it really does go a long way. Understanding the individual you're talking to really, really goes a long way in the tech field. And finally, number 7, how much are you willing to pay your mentor to do the job? Mentors, some work for free, some don't. Okay. Going into it, you should really know that. And a mentor may have a course. A mentor may have a book. That's a great way to pay your mentor, actually. Maybe you can't pay them $5,000, $10,000, whatever, right? Mastermind. Some of these mastermind groups are like $1,000 a month just to join it. Which what happens is they get together and they talk, and it's great. Some people have mentors that they visit once a month, that they pay them $2,000 a month to visit them, and they just tell them the same thing, right? What they do is they analyze their business, or they analyze what they're doing, and they give them advice. I can tell you from when I coach individuals, a lot of the things that come up are, how do I do social media? How do I do it better? How do I get into the mind of my customer? That's one of those things that always comes up. And I always tell them to do a exercise, meaning like, think of your avatar, your customer. What do they do? How's their day work? When they wake up, what do they do in the day? Who are they? How old are they? How tall are they? Do they have any kids? How old are they? Do they have a degree? Do they not have a degree? What type of neighborhood do they live in? What kind of car do they drive? Really visualizing their customer, right? Who they want to sell to, and it's really worked out well. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that, but that's just basically the gist of it right there. How do you find your customer? How do you relate to your customer? What you want to think about is, how do I have the conversation in my head that the customer is having? I want to have that same conversation they have. I want to look at them. I want to say, I'm having this conversation in my head, and the same one they're thinking about. That's like the end all be all perfect. Like, your customer 100% in that regard. So I give you 7 good things. 0, what limiting beliefs do you have? 1, what is your minimum? What is the minimum you have to get paid? 2, how much time can you dedicate to looking for a job? 3, how much time can you dedicate to learning tech? 4, what is your timeline for getting a job, your first job in tech? 5, where are you willing to live to get a job in tech? 6, what skills do you have now that can translate into getting a job in tech? And finally, 7, how much are you willing to pay a mentor to get a job? Be it a book, if you're buying their books, you're buying their courses, etc. So thanks everybody for listening to this podcast, and have a great day.